All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, glory, and honors unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Kakwadash, the honors the apostles and the elders of great millstone that rule well, and peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. This is the priest of Zion one, back with another edition of Great Millstone, or GMS, News and Prophecy. And I have another news article to go into. This one in particular here is from the nationalinterest.org. All right, and the date is September 7, 2019, the year of Karagma. And once again, as usual, we see World War III beginning to take shape with these different armies of the different nations and governments around the world begin to build their nuclear arsenal. Okay, so the headline here is Pakistan's nuclear weapons pose a global danger. What can be done? Okay, so now you see here that now Pakistan, okay, and this is it as an example of the weak saying I am strong. When you read Joel the 3rd chapter, okay, Pakistan is a country over there, not necessarily the Middle East, but up toward it's near I believe it's east of Iran, around India. You got India, Bangladesh, going on in Asia. All right, and now they have a nuclear arsenal. Okay, so this is a clear example of biblical prophecy. Okay, so matter of fact, let me get the scripture, and this is Jeremiah 51:11. It says, "Make bright the arrows, gather the shields." It says, "The Lord hath raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes," which the Medes is going to Russia. It says, "For his device is against Babylon." Babylon is America. To destroy it, to destroy what? To destroy America, which is Babylon the Great, because it is the vengeance of the Lord, the vengeance of his temple. Okay? Now when you go down, when you read Ezekiel the 38th chapter, okay, it speaks about the Lord raising up the land of Gog and Magog, which is also going into the Medes. Okay, now you read Ezekiel 38:5. It says, "Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet." Okay, Persia is Iran today, which are known as the Elamites. Okay, well, Pakistan, those people are also Elamites. Okay, and they're gathering their armies as well. Okay, so all of them have their shield, their helmet. Okay, and all these nations are using nuclear missiles, okay, as a part of their military arsenal. Okay, matter of fact, let me get a let's see here. Okay, let's see here, because when you go into arrows in the scriptures, all right, it goes into these nations building up arrows for the armies. Okay, which are the other nations. Let's see here if I can find it. Bear me 1 second. Here we go, Jeremiah 50. All right, so this is Jeremiah 50:9. It says, "For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations." That would include Russia. That would include Iran, which is Persia. That would include Turkey, which I have an article going into Turkey as well. All these nations are going to use nuclear missiles to destroy America. So it says, "For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country." And they're all going to be allies of Russia. All right, and that includes China as well. All right, and we can't forget about North Korea. Okay, it says, "And they shall set themselves in array against her, from thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man, none shall return in vain." So these nuclear missiles that these countries have are going to be used. Okay, these nuclear missiles that these countries have are going to be used to destroy America. Okay. All right. So I'll just read this here. It says, "Sandwiched between Iran, China, India, and Afghanistan, Pakistan lives in a complicated neighborhood with a variety of security issues. One of the 9 known states known to have nuclear weapons. Pakistan's nuclear arsenal and doctrine are continually evolving to match perceived threats. A nuclear power for decades, Pakistan is now attempting to construct a nuclear triad of its own, making its nuclear arsenal resilient and capable of devastating retaliatory strikes." Okay. All right. And it says that they have a rivalry with India, and all these nations are going to be allied, like I said, with Russia and China to destroy America. Okay. So Pakistan has a nuclear arsenal, and I have another article here, right? And this is from the EurasianTimes.com, right? Dated the same day, September 7, 2019. Turkish President Erdogan wants the right to develop nuclear weapons. Okay, and you can see these allies here: Turkey with Erdogan on the far right, and the Khamenei of Iran on the far left. They're all, being allied with the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, here in the middle. Okay, so it says, "Brinkmanship may be his trademark, but Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan is unlikely to provoke the ire of the international community by launching a nuclear weapons program. Yet his demand that Turkey has the right to do so highlights the fracturing of the rules-based international order as well as changing regional realities." Okay? It says, "Mr. Erdogan's questioning of the international order may well reflect unspoken thinking of other regional leaders in the world in which the United States has withdrawn from the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty with Russia, which that would be the IRNF treaty that the U.S. has pulled out of, I believe, within like the last month or two. So now it says unilaterally walked away from the 2015 international nuclear agreement with Iran, and countries like China and Russia are willing to sell nuclear technology as well as arms with fewer, if any, safeguards." It says, "Add to that the international community's failure to prevent Pakistan, which I just went into, okay, and North Korea from becoming nuclear powers, and its double standards in looking the other way for decades as Israel developed an unacknowledged arsenal of its own." Okay, so these countries, okay, Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, now Pakistan, and even Turkey, they want nuclear weapons, nuclear missiles. Okay, so this is biblical prophecy coming to pass, man. Okay. All right. So let me go back here in Jeremiah 50. And I'll read this, and then I'll end off. All right. It says, now this is Jeremiah 50 and 9 again. "For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows," yet the arrows are the nuclear missiles. Okay, it's not hard to correlate that fact. You know, it's obvious that arrows and nuclear missiles are very similar. Matter of fact, nuclear missiles are akin or likened unto arrows that ancient warriors would use, but now we use missiles. Okay? It says that they shall be as of a mighty expert man, none shall return in vain, meaning they're all going to hit their target. And that target is the United States of America. It says, in Chaldea shall be a spoil. Chaldea is another name for America. All right? All that spoil her shall be satisfied, saith the Lord. Why? Because these nations hate them. Well, matter of fact, let me read this. Verse 11, because ye were glad, because ye rejoiced, or ye destroyers of mine heritage. Because Americans, these so-called white Americans, all right, these Edomites, all right, you had the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans in slavery, okay? So the Lord's going to use all your allies and all these other nations to destroy you for our sake, okay? Because that's just the will and the power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. It says, because you are grown fat as the heifer at grass and bellow as bulls. And that's the fact that America's rich based off of slavery. Okay? It says, your mother shall be sore confounded. And that's talking about the UK, Great Britain. And they have a hatred for Donald Trump over there. And they're also going to shoot missiles on America. It says, she that bear you shall be ashamed. Because America came out of Great Britain. Okay, via the Revolutionary War, 1776. It says, behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. And that's the United States. It shall become a desert. Because of the wrath of the Lord, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. The same way you that storm Dorian, all right, Hurricane Dorian came through and totally destroyed the Abacos Islands out there in the Bahamas. Okay, that's basically how desolate America's going to be once these nuclear missiles destroy it. Okay, it says, everyone that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at all her plagues. Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all ye that bend the bow. All these nations and countries that have nuclear missiles, shoot at her. So they're going to shoot their missiles at America. It says, spare no arrows, spare no nuclear missiles, for she hath sinned against the Lord. Shout against her round about. She hath given her hand, her foundations are fallen, her walls are thrown down. That's how America's going to be destroyed. For it is the vengeance of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Take vengeance upon her, as she hath done, do unto her. All right? And with that, I'm going to say shalom. America's going to be destroyed soon.